Chiayi Waterworks was constructed in 1911 and completed in 1914, serving as the Chiayi first headwater point. It was the earliest water purification facility established in Chiayi. The various purification equipment and the beautifully designed water gauge room from that time have all been preserved to this day. The Puzi Waterworks was constructed in 1933 and completed in 1936, located in Puzi City, Chiayi County. The Puzi Waterworks Distribution Tower, also known as the Puzi Water Tower or Shuadatu, was an important public health facility in Puzi, improving the drinking water hygiene at the time. Due to its historical and cultural significance, it has now been designated as a cultural heritage site. Lantan Reservoir was constructed in 1942 and completed in 1944, located about 3 kilometers east of Chiayi City. The reservoir's predecessor was Hongmapi, a pond that is believed to have been created by the Dutch around 300 years ago. In the early Japanese colonial period, residents primarily relied on river water, well water, or rainwater for daily use. These sources were often filtered through sedimentation or with the use of alum, then simply boiled before drinking. However, the contamination of water sources and improper disposal of household wastewater led to significant public health issues, including the spread of epidemics. To resolve the water supply issues, the Japanese government implemented the Chiayi City Improvement Plan, which involved the construction of the Chiayi Waterworks. This project included establishing a water intake point to channel raw water to the headwater point in the eastern suburbs of Chiayi City. After undergoing sedimentation, the water was filtered slowly and then delivered to the city by natural gravity for residents to use. Chiayi Waterworks began construction in 1911 and was completed in 1914. A weir and the Juchi water intake point were established on the Nyocho River at Zhangshuping village, 4.5 li east of Chiayi town. Later, as industrial development led to increased water demand, an expansion project was launched in 1931. This project added water intake points at Fanlu and Choku to supplement the Juchi water intake point, adjusting according to seasonal needs. The water intake facilities of the Chiayi Waterworks include a weir, a desilting well, and a water intake well, all of which are constructed from reinforced concrete. The water diversion facilities include 2 12-inch iron pipes and a reinforced concrete distribution well with an internal diameter of 4.54 meters and a depth of 3.48 meters. The water purification facilities include a sedimentation tank, a sedimentation well, for sand filters, for sand filtration wells, a clear water well, and 2 clear water reservoirs. The water gauge room, originally part of the Chiayi Waterworks project and now known as the water meter room, serves to measure and regulate the water supply, providing essential domestic and industrial water for the Chiayi area. It is responsible for recording the daily water flow of the waterworks before distributing it through the city's water supply network. The water gauge room is a reinforced concrete structure covering an area of 29 square meters. Architecturally, it is designed in a neoclassical style, with the exterior divided into 3 sections: the base, the wall body, and the gable. The structure features robust columns paired with a simplified gable design. The front facade has 4 protruding columns, and above the main entrance is an arch with a gradated curve, complemented by a Romanesque arch and keystone motif at the entrance. The water distribution of the city street starts from the clear water reservoir, passes through the water gauge room, and then is sent to the city streets via 14-inch iron pipes. The diameter of the pipes gradually reduces to 12 inches, 8 inches, and 6 inches, providing water for both residential use and fire hydrants in the city. The water purification process of the Chiayi Waterworks involves diverting water from the Nyocho River into the water intake well, where it naturally flows into the distribution well. The water then passes through the sedimentation tank, sedimentation well, sand filter, and sand filtration wells, before entering the clear water well, which sends it to the clear water reservoirs. After passing through the water gauge room, the water is distributed to Chiayi City via pipelines. Due to Chiayi City's topography, with higher elevations in the east and lower in the west, the entire water supply process, from raw water intake to city distribution, relies solely on gravity, eliminating the need for pumps. Although the scale of the Chiayi Waterworks has changed significantly compared to the Japanese colonial period, most of the facilities within the headwater point area have been preserved. These cultural assets were officially designated as Chiayi City Historic Buildings in 2015 and have been preserved to this day. The Chiayi Waterworks has been out of operation for many years and is no longer in use, but it is now open for public visits year-round. Puzi Town was the location of the Dongshu District Office during the Japanese colonial period. Drinking water was mainly sourced from wells, resulting in poor sanitary conditions. In 1901, a large-scale plague outbreak occurred and wasn't eradicated until 1918. To improve the town's sanitary environment, the construction of the Puzi Waterworks began in 1933 and was inaugurated in 1936, improving drinking water hygiene and providing clean water to the Puzi area. The water source for the Puzi Waterworks was drawn from the Puzi River to supply residents with water for daily use. Later, due to sediment accumulation and water pollution, wells were drilled to extract groundwater. In 1974, the Puzi Water Purification Station came under the management of the Puzi Operations Station of the 5th branch of Taiwan Water Corporation. Groundwater extraction was stopped in 1998, and the water purification station was converted into a water storage and pumping station. The facilities of the Puzi Waterworks include a water intake well, a desilting well, a raw water pumping well, a pump room, a distribution well, a sedimentation tank, a sedimentation well, sand filter, a sand filter control room, a drainage well, a clear water pumping well, and a distribution tower. The Puzi Waterworks Distribution Tower, also known as the Puzi Water Tower or Shuadatu, stands 35 meters tall with a water storage capacity of 450 cubic meter, making it the tallest building in Puzi, Chiayi at the time. The tower features a European architectural style and is divided into 3 sections from top to bottom. The upper layer is the tower ornament, the middle layer is the water tower body, and the lower layer is the tower frame. The tower ornament is a bell-shaped, 6-sided round dome pavilion. The water tower body is circular, and the lower layer of the tower consists of 4 ring beams supported by 10 columns. The second ring beam is reinforced with a radial grid of columns for additional support. The exterior of the beams and columns features a checkered pattern, creating a highly aesthetic design. This structure is one of the most important landmarks in Puzi, Chiayi. The water purification process of the Puzi Waterworks begins by extracting raw water from the Puzi River. The water first passes through the water intake well, flows through the desilting well, and is then sent to the raw water pumping well. After being pressurized in the pump room, the water enters the distribution well and then flows into the sedimentation tank for settling. The upper layer of water is directed from the sedimentation well to the sand filters, where it is filtered and purified. The water then passes through the sand filter control room, is sent to the clear water pumping well, and is finally pressurized in the pump room before being delivered to the distribution tower for supply to the Puzi area. The Puzi Waterworks was an important public health and epidemic prevention system for the residents of Puzi Town during the Japanese colonial period. Today, the Puzi Waterworks still retains a complete system from that era, including water intake, sedimentation, filtration, pressurization, and distribution. It holds significant educational value in water resource management. In 2006, it was registered as a historical building, and in 2014, it was designated as a county-level historic monument. In 1940, to address the increasing demand for residential water in Chiayi City and the significant industrial water needs of the Chiayi Chemical Workshop, civil engineer Yamane Chojiro planned and designed the construction of the Lantan Reservoir. Construction began in March 1942, and the reservoir was inaugurated in March 1944. To this day, nearly 800,000 users in Chiayi City and neighboring towns continue to rely on the water resources provided by the Lantan Reservoir. The primary water source for the Lantan Reservoir is the Bazheng River. The reservoir is shaped like a gold sisal, with an east-west length of about 1 kilometer and a north-south width of about 2 kilometers, covering an area of approximately 2 square kilometers. It is an off-stream reservoir and is one of the most important water storage facilities in the Chiayi area. The reservoir has a total water storage capacity of 9.79 million cubic meter and a catchment area of 2 square kilometers. The normal water storage level is 75.30 meters. The dam is a rolled-fill earth dam with a concrete core wall, with a crest elevation of 77.30 meters and a total length of 546 meters. The Lantan Reservoir primarily supplies 40,000 cubic meters per day to the Lantan Water Purification Station and 20,000 cubic meters per day for Formosa Chemicals and Fiber Corporation's industrial use. As the population in the Chiayi area rapidly increased, a project to raise the height of the Lantan Reservoir was initiated in 1971. The height increase was completed in July 1972, bringing the reservoir's effective storage capacity to 9.35 million cubic meters. This was also the first time in Taiwan that the height of an earth-fill dam reservoir was raised. In the early Japanese colonial period, the growth of industry and population in the Chiayi area led to a significant increase in water demand. At that time, most water sources, such as river water and well water, were not properly treated, resulting in many public health issues and the spread of epidemics. To improve water quality, new headwater point was developed. The main water supply systems built during the Japanese colonial period utilized the natural terrain and nearby water sources, distributing water to residential areas through gravity. The construction of the Chiayi Waterworks, Puzi Waterworks, and Lantan Reservoir had a profound impact on the development of the Chiayi area. Many of these facilities have been preserved for over a century and are now historical buildings open to visitors. In the next episode, we will continue with an introduction to the public water supply developments in Chiayi during the Republic of China era. Stay tuned!